Hi everybody, Dave from Dave's Specialty Foods here. Welcome to our cool holiday demo. Happy holidays to everybody, whatever holiday you celebrate. If you don't celebrate any holidays, happy December. And get ready for good warm cooking in the cold weather in the warm kitchen with the fireplace. Maggie's producing behind the camera, Ola. And we're gonna get right into it today. We're gonna cook some holiday kind of tips and tricks kind of stuff virtually. Obviously we can't do stuff in the shop for obvious reasons. We've got some, I think, exciting dessert, a really cool main course, and a kind of a second idea for something to do for bump up your chicken. It's not such a boring, dried up, oven baked blah chicken. Kind of two main courses and a cool dessert. We're gonna go classic with creme brulee. We're gonna make a pork tenderloin that's gonna be tossed all yucky and messy and molasses and honey and garlic, roasted, served with very French style with caramelized apples, a nice veal stock sauce. So we've got some cool ingredients to show you with that. And we're gonna do a chicken breast that we're gonna kind of slice butterfly open. I think people misuse the word, oh, I had it butterfly, but I don't think everybody knows what that means. We're gonna show you how to do that, kind of a knife skill thing. We're gonna open it up, we're gonna pound it a little bit, getting scary here, and then we're gonna put brie and spinach inside, fold it over, and we're not breading it, because there's nothing worse than everything being breaded, okay? Breaded stuff is kind of 80s, maybe 70s, okay? Let's go, we've all had a lot of stuffing now, you know? We don't always need everything breaded, okay? People think, oh, you gotta bread it because the brie and the spinach are gonna fall out of the inside of the chicken. That is not gonna happen if you have good technique. So this demo is kind of all about French style, but taking a little bit of the scary French idea out of it, you know, techniques and good ingredients, like we always do here, okay? It's actually kind of a good thing now that we can have these big groups together for cooking, because I think a lot of people think they're having like 12, 15 people over their house, even if you entertain a lot, oh, and they're gonna try a new recipe and they get freaked out. You wake up, you lose sleep. So now you've got the 2 or the 3 people or the 1 person, and don't be afraid to try something new. You got some time, you can calm down. You don't have to decorate your house. You can just ease back, invite someone over that's safe, and cook something different. We've got some weird things here. We've got a big hammer mallet. We're gonna pound some chicken. We've got a torch here that we're going to make dessert creme brulee with. This is a real torch. It's not one of those little cheesy kind of quote-unquote creme brulee torches that has a little tiny little Bic butane fire coming out of it. This is a real torch, and we're gonna show you that, okay? We got some good cooking booze to work with here that we're gonna flambe with, okay? Yippity-doo. We got some veal stock here, okay? An empty pitcher. We're gonna show you how to properly pour the creme brulee. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna get right into dessert and just go ahead and make it first, because number one, it has to cook and bake and rest, okay? Because it's creme brulee, we don't want mushy custard that's still warm out of the oven. Part of cooking and taking that kind of fear out of cooking is the prep. Prep isn't always just about food and chopping spinach and having onions out and getting your knife sharp. It's also about getting your equipment out, being clean and ready to go. You're gonna see by the end of this demo, I still got a white chef coat on. Nobody wants to eat gross food from a gross kitchen, from a gross looking cook, okay? We wanna make sure we have our little ramekins out. We're gonna cook this in a bain-marie, which is gonna be, we're gonna fill the pan with water so that these cook very slow and delicate. Don't worry, we're gonna show you that. So we got our ramekins ready to go here. You see I've got some mismatched ones, that's fine. We've got our bowl, we're gonna make our creme brulee. We've got our whisk, and this is important, and we've got our ingredients already measured out. Get your pitcher out. We're gonna pour the creme brulee into the pitcher and dump it in here, and you get that out. Don't start breaking eggs and you got all these yucky yolks on your fingers and you're digging around looking for a pitcher. We've got a pitcher of warm water that we're gonna pour in the creme brulee, in the bain-marie, we'll show you. And we've got our parchment paper ready to go. So that's what kind of prep is. You can't overthink that. People say, yeah, blah, 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 Dave, just get cooking. You've gotta be ready and you gotta have your stuff out. So here we go. So I'm gonna actually make in front of you a half a batch. I believe the recipe that you're going to see is double this. I break yolks by hand. I don't do egg yolks with one of those little, they're usually yellow. I grew up, my mom had one of these little yellow things with the holes on the side, and you put the egg and you'd wait for the whites to drip and you dump the thing. We're gonna just break our eggs over something that we're going to get rid of. We're gonna save our yolks, and we don't need the whites today. We're gonna count 7 yolks in here, okay? So try not to lose track, you guys, okay? So you see how even I kind of busted that. See how there's even a little white hanging here? I don't care, I'm fine with it. So how many is that, 4? Is that 4? 4, here's 5. And here's 7. All right. Here we go. So we've got our sugar. Creme brulee is one of those things that's very simple. Doesn't matter what age you are, but start thinking about any cooking you've ever done. Think about the really, really simple things that you do that are so difficult. Grilled cheese. They're either awesome, you can't be like sort of a good grilled cheese. That's a sucky grilled cheese. You can't be sort of a good chocolate cupcakes. You know, they gotta be really good or they're not good at all, okay? So this has to follow the technique and follow the correct cooking process. It's that simple. Don't mess up, don't cheese out, and you're gonna have a perfect creme brulee that's so simple. It's a bunch of milky cream and some sugar, and you bake it, and you torch it. How simple is that? Okay, so here's our yolks. We're gonna dump our sugar in there, okay? I'm gonna dump our pre-measured sugar in there, a little touch of vanilla in here. You always have vanilla, and make sure your vanilla is real. Here's our yolks, and see how I do this, okay? This is kind of supposed to be about kind of techniques also. I don't want to take anything for granted. Kind of hold this like as if it's like a paintbrush. You see so many people mixing like this, and they have a hard time. People say, well, it's not mixing right. Get down on the whisk, down here like this. So we're gonna get in here, okay? And we're really gonna just get in here and mix, okay? You can't mess this up, okay? This is really good. All our yolks are kind of mixed together. Simple. Some milk in here. We'll put some cream in here. All right. Remember, this is dessert. We're not even thinking about dinner yet because it's early in the morning or afternoon. We're getting our dessert ready, or day before. You could make creme brulee on Monday and serve it Saturday. I'm telling you guys, you know. How do you think restaurants do it? You think in the restaurant business we cook the creme brulee right before you get to the store? Creme brulee is something that is already pasteurized milk and cream. Then you're cooking it again, you're kind of repasteurizing it. You're giving it a little bit of longevity in the oven by baking it. And then you properly chill it, because this is a technique. You let it sit out for about an hour, and then you throw it in the refrigerator uncovered for about an hour and let it really get cold. This creme brulee, the reason we're making this for holidays and these stressed out parties is because you can make it a week ahead, 5 days ahead. Here we go. Let's go into our little pitcher here. Ding, ding, ding. You gotta say ding, ding, ding on the way. We're gonna grab our pitcher like this. Put your hand through here like this, okay? And we won't spill this. About 9/10 full. Don't worry how hot it is, just warm water. Okay, we're gonna pour it right into the edge of our bain marie, you call this. So we've got our creme brulee, we've got our ramekins, we've got our clean water poured into this big container that's going to keep the creme brulee from boiling in the oven. Because we don't want this to boil, so we want the water to kind of ease back on the heat. We've got our oven preheated. I preheat my oven to about 345. So we've got a little parchment on top so the top doesn't get that pudding crust on the top of it. And we're gonna bake this until it's kind of cooked and jiggly. We're gonna start with a half an hour, 30 minutes. So we're gonna cut an onion. I'm gonna have my little bucket here to get all my stuff in here so I can spend my time cooking and less time cleaning, okay? This is something I'm gonna show you. It's gonna be a real simple deglazing with some brandy and some chicken stock in here right there. What I usually do is I just cut the top and the bottom off of an onion here, okay? And remember, now's the time to cut this because we can always follow this build off our cutting board. You know, we can cut some brie on here for our chicken or some spinach. We don't have to clean the cutting board every time. If we did our pork or our chicken on the cutting board first, then you're kind of stuck cleaning everything again and having to chop an onion. There's no reason why you couldn't chop an onion and then prep your chicken right on top of the, you know, when there's onion juice on there. So I cut the top and bottom, I give it a whack like that, okay? That looks pretty scary because you're going towards your hand, but you gotta be confident, okay? If you go real soft, it's just gonna bounce. If you're not happy doing that, just kind of hold the onion on the top like this and give it a slice down. See all these layers? Just get down to that first layer of white. Look at all these layers on here. Look at this. We're gonna cut, remember our cut mark? Let's cut that right in half, top to bottom, right through that little cut mark, okay? And when you look at the onion, it's got those little marks, those little lines in it. Okay, we never want to cut an onion this way. Remember the top of the onion? You don't want to cut across the grain, they'd call this. You see those lines going in the onion like that? You want to cut with the lines, okay? You see what I'm saying? Don't cut it like this. Your onion's going to be tough and chewy because you've got all these little grains you're biting into. We're going to keep the end attached. So we're going to slice through this side, and then we're going to open that up. We're going to keep that end attached. We're going to slice down. Look at that. And look at my fingers. I'm not like this. See? Look at how bad that looks. Oh, wow. What's going on here? People say, oh, I don't do that. Yes, you do. I see that all the time. You're gonna cut down, and don't hold your knife like this, by the way. Let's talk about this. My knife here is kind of wobbling like this. See, when I'm cutting an onion, my knife can turn like that. And look at my hand, it didn't move. We want our knife to stay upright. So we're gonna grab our knife like this, okay? I don't care if you're a lefty or righty, from a different country, from a different planet, from a different time. It doesn't matter. This is how you hold your knife. It's not an if, it's a when you cut. When you cut your hand, it's because you had your knife like that. All right, so we've got our onion all sliced 3/4. We're gonna come sideways with this. Now, I am holding putting my finger on here like this because I just wanna kind of guide it in here. I'm not slicing, and we're just going to very gently slide the knife in so it's one slice, and so it's almost 3/4. So when we slice down, we make little dices. Look at how easy that is. Go all the way to the end. Okay, and I'm gonna put that down, and I'm just gonna do that. Okay. In real time, you're comfortable, we're just gonna chop our onion here. So this is how we chop an onion, and you don't cry. The reason, see, look at this. The reason you do this, Maggie won't even have to speed up the camera. This is fast, okay? I slide my bowl here, and we scoop this right on in. Look at that, ready to go. That's prep. You can do it with onions, garlic, carrots, celery. Right? We just had Thanksgiving. Everybody's like, oh, I got to, what's wrong? I cut celery and onions and garlic. It was so hard. Get that done beforehand. So now when you need to make stuffing, you should be able to go onions, garlic, celery, done. Okay? Take little containers out of your prep. You got your onions here. Look at my onions. I've got some butter sitting out, ready to go. I've got herbs sitting here, ready to cook. I know I'm going to use them. I cut them out of the garden, okay? Fresh herbs, get them out of the container. You're constantly opening these containers, and they're taped, and it's just making you mad. Chicken stock, we're gonna show you this. Yes, this is purchased, we're gonna explain this, but my lid is already cracked. It's already ready to go, okay? And maybe your recipe calls for rum. You don't have any rum, there's brandy, you're creative, you say, I think that'll be a good substitution. Red wine will not substitute for white wine, but Pinot Noir will substitute for Zinfandel or Cabernet Sauvignon. You might, oh, I don't have any Cabernet, but I have Zinfandel. And you're running to the store not thinking that red wine is red wine when you're gonna boil it for a sauce. Think before you start getting that kind of stressful thoughts going and running to the store just to get a different kind of red wine. Look at my olive oil. It's open, there's no lid on it. At my house, true story, there's never a lid on the olive oil. So I can have a pan, grab the olive oil, use the olive oil, and put the olive oil back on. I use olive oil every day. Even if I used it once every 3 or 4 days. I cook a lot. Get that lid off of it, and I don't put it away. It sits on the counter right there. It's all part of technique and prep. So we've got our pork here, okay? Again, getting back to prep. We've got a pork tenderloin here. I like to leave all that delicious fat on there. There's a little bit of what we call silver skin. Some people call it sinew. I need that fat. I like the fat being on there. That's my personal thing. If you want to take the fat off, great for you, but a lot of it ends up cooking off in the oven anyway. We need a little bit of olive oil, okay? In we go. A little bit of olive oil right on there. We've got a little Herbes de Provence, okay? Look at those beautiful little, it's dried herb, but it doesn't mean that it's a stale old herb. It's got to be a fresh dried herb. You guys know what I'm talking about here? It's dried herbs that are still have their color. You can see the purple lavender in there from the Herbes de Provence. This is from France, okay? Good dried Herbes de Provence, okay? Don't be cheap on that. Just throw it in there. Go, oh, what does that look? How does that look? Just go with it. We're making a savory thing. It's not creme brulee here. We have to be precise. We're gonna put a little honey in here. Now, just any old honey bear honey? No, good local honey from Doug up in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin, okay? Try to make it as local as you can and support the little guys here, okay? It's all about that. And by supporting the little guy, you bump up your own life too because you are using a product that's way better than this crap you get in the grocery store. We've got some molasses here from our big nasty jug of molasses. Try to not use blackstrap molasses. Try to use just an unsulfured molasses. Blackstrap molasses is a little bit bitter, okay? I got enough here for 3 world wars here, but we're gonna put about that much. About that much, okay? I'm gonna put a little parsley on here. Why not? I want that color in there. All right, a little bit of salt. We sprinkle, you guys. Okay, don't use a salt shaker. Sprinkle. Here's where we're getting dirty. I put the salt last because we're gonna put the salt and pepper, and then we're gonna get in there. Okay, here's our pepper. I'm not done adding salt because I want to season one side. I don't want to just dump a bunch of stuff and make sure it's, because when I flip this over, you can see there's nothing on there. In we go. Got clean hands. We're going to put our salt on the top. Now, when we turn it over, look at that. Nothing. There's nothing going on here, okay? Get some salt on that back side. I usually go a little bit liberal Okay, see, I'm already getting yucky here. Let's go. You just go in. See how when you got all your prep and you're ready to go, you can just go in here. So we're gonna take that sticky molasses and honey and olive oil and herbs and just mash it all into the pork. This is what I call a marinade, but we're not gonna let this sit for too long. I let this sit out at room temperature for about an hour, max. I don't believe in marinating something like this overnight, because what's gonna happen is, see my pork? Look at how beautiful it is. There's nothing dripping from it. There's nothing in the bowl. There's no water in the bowl. If you let this sit in the fridge overnight and quote unquote marinate like every cookbook tells you to do, there's gonna be a whole bunch of liquid in the bowl. When liquid comes out of your meat by marinating it quote unquote overnight, the liquid coming out of the meat is the juice that's supposed to be in the meat. You're gonna go 1 hour at room temp. Why room temp? Because you're gonna cook it anyway. It's not gonna go bad on you. You're about to throw it in the oven and heat it up to about 160 degrees. The room temp is like quick action, okay? So 1 hour at room temp is equal to probably 6 or 7 hours in the fridge. The fridge is kind of slow and mellow, and room temp really gets those flavors in there. So 1 hour room temp if you're gonna do that, okay? Let's clean up. I'm gonna cook this right away. I'm not gonna wait. I'm getting a little bit warm here, okay? So this is the key. We wanna have a dry pan. There's no oil in this pan yet. We're gonna give this one nice little flip around in that beautiful little dark juice like that, okay? So we've got our hot pan. Let's get a little touch of olive oil in here. Just a little splat. Take the bowl right over the pan and put it in. Oh, but Dave, it's hot. I know it is. So you got a little bit of sizzle here. Remember, we walked it down. Don't drop it in. Got a lot of heat going on here. We're gonna let that juice, we're gonna save our bowl, our nasty raw bowl. How thick this is? This is about 3 inches by 2 inches. We're going to let this, we're gonna put it back in our bowl, get it all gloppy in there, put it back in our pan. We're gonna roast it in the oven in this pan. Okay, look at this. So we're searing that other side. Look at how nice that looks, you guys, okay? I gotta say, that looks amazing, okay? Now, we're gonna look at that nice, beautiful smoke. Let's come out of here. Take our pan off the heat. Hold around that raw pork with the raw juice, just fine. We've got that seared pork, okay, into here, okay? Sauteing it starts the meat getting warm inside so it cooks a little quicker, which is what you want. And it begins that process, so this will only take us about 15 minutes in the oven. That's it. We're gonna make sure fat up. So you can see this fat on here. See that fat all over the place? Fat up so that it bakes it a little bit. It gives you a nice crust, which you will never get from a pork tenderloin. You want that crust on there with that molasses, and it adds that little bit of dark caramel flavor. In the oven we go, 15 minutes. Now we're gonna cook the pork with caramelized apples and some veal stock sauce. So let's get our apples going. So cut the top, remember the apple? Cut the top and bottom. And this is a knife skill, okay? So we're gonna hold the knife more like, so we can guide it, less like we're chopping. So we're gonna chop like this. We're gonna just do a little peeling, like guiding it, okay? Why do I peel it? Because you don't wanna, I want soft, delicate apples. So we're gonna chop down, okay? We're gonna chop in quarters here. Cut the center out. See what I'm doing? Just gonna chop that center right out of it. We're gonna chop these in thirds. 3 little quarters, okay? This is how I make my apple pie. Cut these a little thinner, but this is how I do my apple pie, same way. All right, so there's our apples. Let's get a hot pan. Let's get our cutting board and just throw our apples right in like that. Let's let those cook down. There's that butter and that sugar is going to start caramelizing. We got high heat, so you got a lot of smoke and steam coming out of here. See the edge starting to brown there really nicely, okay? So that's going. We got our pork in the oven. We got our apples cooking. I guess we can kind of prep our chicken while we're doing this, okay? We're gonna need some plastic wrap, believe it or not. Look at this, remember that? Okay, we're gonna get that. We're just gonna use the flat side. But you don't freak out if you don't have one of these. You just use the bottom of a pan. Oh, look at that, look how flat that is, right? Just a good pan, I got my chicken. Bam, okay? This will work great. Don't go invest in this if you're gonna make this one time. Make it twice, then go, oh, I need one of these. So I've got my caramelizing going on here. Oh, Dave, what do I do? Oh my God, it's burning. There's a swirl. Now look at the apple. Now, the swirl is gonna lead to this. Pretty soon you're doing this. Okay, when I do that, you've seen these videos before, okay? If you haven't, wake up, watch the videos. So you start with this, and then you kind of shake it, and you just go like that, okay? Okay, just rewind it 10 times, you'll get it. I've got a cutting board with a towel under it. Let's put another one on top because we're gonna put a chicken on here. That's a nice chicken breast. It's a 6-ounce chicken breast. You don't need to eat, I need to eat more than that. No, you don't. You're not gonna eat it. That's a good size. Here's your little chicken guy here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just cut this kind of like this, okay? See, I'm cutting up, just like the onion, right up until the middle there. So that's a butterfly. So the chicken breast was closed like this, and we just slice it, so just to get it open like this. Look at this, we're gonna put plastic wrap on the top of that. And what that does, and I've got my knife here because it's chickeny, we're gonna get rid of this whole process when we're done, okay? Now, don't use this tender, I never use that. If you're beating your meat to tenderize it, something's wrong with your meat. You gotta get tender meat. Meat should be tender. You don't need to tenderize it, that's great. We're going to just use this flat part, okay? Watch this, okay? Bottom of a pan. Just give it a couple nice flat whacks. Look at how perfect that is. Don't be nice. Just kill this thing, okay? Give it a couple nice sharp whacks. Keep it nice and even. So you want to make it even so it all cooks the same. And by flattening it, it kind of breaks the structure of the meat so that when we cook it when it's filled with spinach, it doesn't pop open. You've got to pound that a little bit, break the meat apart so that when the meat cooks, it doesn't stress out like this and start shrinking. You know, all meat shrinks when you cook it. You know, the turkey, everything shrinks. When it shrinks, it starts popping open like this. By pounding it a little bit, you're gonna watch this. We don't have to bread it, and it's not gonna have any toothpicks in it. It's not gonna open up. Remember that pan I showed you for the chicken? We're gonna use that. So when you're done pounding your meat, cook your spinach. Okay, a little touch of olive oil in here. We're gonna saute some baby spinach, okay? So we've got our chicken, our spinach, and our brie. We're gonna saute some baby spinach. Hot pan. A little bit of salt and pepper, you guys. A little bit of touch of salt and pepper. It's just a little touch of olive oil in here. That's all I need. You know, a little touch of olive oil. Look at how quick this is. We're gonna turn our heat off. Look at how quick this is. Oh, Dave, you're putting hot spinach right in the chicken? Oh, that's bad. It's okay because we're cooking it right now. Let's go. A nice clean board underneath. A chunk of brie. Okay, I just made some of this yesterday. Look at that. Beautiful, soft, melty brie. Don't be cheap. Let's get in there, okay? What we're gonna do is just fold this over. You can put some sun-dried tomatoes in there. You can get a little funky with it, okay? Remember that rip mark in my chicken, okay? We wanna give it don't be shy with it. We wanna give it a little squeeze, okay? And in we go, okay? We're gonna put a little bit of salt and pepper, all right? Both sides, okay? So remember, one good hand, one yucky. I'll give it a flip. I'm gonna season. Fresh parsley. Whoa, Dave, where did I get fresh parsley? That's not in the recipe. I don't know. How many of you have herbs sitting around, cilantro, stuff sitting around your fridge that you used once and use it on stuff, okay? Some Herbes de Provence, because I like it, okay? And I'm gonna put a little Cajun spice on here. Oh, that's not in the recipe. Oh, but I'm creative. A little touch of olive oil in my pan. Don't drop this. People go, oh, it's hot. Yep. We're gonna walk this right in the oil and just right in, walk it all the way down in there. Now the brie is going to start melting before this goes in the oven, and it's gonna start, you know, it won't stick, but it'll start gooing a little bit. Just don't be afraid of that. That's gonna be just fine, okay? Saute the top under the pork. We're gonna flip it. I'm gonna throw it in the oven. This will only take about 10 minutes. The sauteing, rather than just baking it, starts warming that thin chicken up so that it really cooks quick in the oven and the cheese is fresh and gooey. You're gonna see it, okay? We're gonna set it for 10 and check it, okay? And how do we check it? We're going to literally open it up like a book and look inside, okay? And look how my chicken's staying nice and closed. It's not opening like that supermarket stuff. Here's your creme brulee. Now let's take our little, what do you call this, parchment off, okay? Remember that bain marie, that water? But look at how they kind of jiggle, like kind of, I don't know, what would you explain that? Like Jell-O that's just not set yet, okay? You don't want them to boil, but they're getting these kind of little kind of brownish, a little touch of brown bubbly look on the top, and it's jiggly, okay? That's perfectly cooked creme brulee, okay? You can't eat this now. That would be foolish. This isn't gonna be ready for like 2-3 hours, okay? So we're gonna come back and show you this when we torch it, but this is the prep, okay? Our chicken is still cooking. We got about 5 minutes on that. And our pork is done. Look at that, perfect. The fat has kind of gotten this crunchies on it. It's all kind of cooked down. Look at that darkness on the bottom. We're gonna let that sit in here and rest. Maybe we can flip it over. Look at how just roasted up that is. We want to let that rest at least probably 20 minutes. So it's already been resting about 10. So we want to have 20 minutes on that stuff, okay? Let's revisit these apples a little bit. We're gonna get them nice and hot here. So I got a little bit of fresh thyme on here. I might be varying from the recipe here, but I'm allowed to. we're just zipping these. The top is okay, it's nice and soft, okay? But we don't want the bottom sticks in here, okay? The stems, you know? See how our apples are starting to get hot again in the pan. Okay, a little fresh thyme in there. Oh, we put a little veal stock in here. What is that? That's like beef stock. Beef stock, okay? I'm just taking the beef stock and reduced it so it's kind of really intense, okay? So we've taken something like this, which is chicken stock, and we've put it in a pan and really reduced it down. We make our own here. We're gonna boil it crazy until it's about a quarter of the original liquid, okay? And in goes the stock, okay? All right, we're just gonna add a touch of cream. I'm not even measuring, just a little quarter cup. Lots of black pepper. Okay, so you got the sweet apples, you got the spicy pepper, you got that fresh herby thyme. Look at the color here, you guys. Oh, smell that. Oh my gosh. Smells good. Okay, here we go. Look at that pork, okay? Now what's nice here is we're gonna take our pork, we're gonna take that little drippings, we call it. We're gonna go kind of thin. I don't wanna go too thick on this, okay? Just look at the steam coming off of here, you guys, okay? Come on, this is amazing. Beautiful pork, that's amazing, okay? Here's our chicken. Our chicken just came out. Chicken's a little different. You don't need chicken to rest because there's no fat at all on it. It's very thin meat. You don't need this to rest. See, it didn't open. It didn't flap open and there's no toothpicks in it. Just open this up here and check. It's okay. Look, it's white, it's perfect, okay? All the cheese is melted. Let's get this out of here. And our chicken goes right on our plate, okay? You can serve it whole or you can slice it. Look at the pork. Or you can kind of get funky with it, that's fine. But get that cheese, that sticky cheese out here. Let's take that off, okay? You can eat it, whatever. Okay. We're gonna take some, remember those onions? Put some onions right in here. Now, all that brown stuff's gonna come right off right now. I'm gonna put some onions in here. A little bit of rosemary in there, the smell, okay? There we go. Deglaze. So you got your brown pan like that. We're gonna pull this off of the fire over here. This won't catch fire if you're off of the fire. Don't do this over the fire. Oh, I'm getting drunk. Don't do this over the fire. Now we can put it over here. This might catch fire a little bit here. There we go. It's not that scary, you guys. Kind of fun. And we've done is two things. We've gotten all the brown bits off. We've deglazed it. So it's called deglazing. Added the flavor of the brandy, and we've gotten rid of the alcohol. That's that flame. Or you don't have to flame it. It'll calm down. Some chicken stock. All right. Now, little touch of chicken stock. Maybe that's about half a cup. I use stuff like this when I'm doing demos. I make all my own stocks, but I like to keep it real a little bit. I snuck and did that veal stock before. Everybody's going to be confused as to what that is, and my sauce is amazing. You might not get the same exact color on your pork sauce, but amazing. And by the way, that sauce for the pork, switch the stock, and you can do that for just do some white wine or something, and the cream with the apples on salmon, amazing. So you can get creative with that. We're adding some fresh parsley color. Just a little touch of olive oil just for flavor. Now look at it. You can see how clean the pan is now. So let's go back to prep. You can, while this is cooking, you can saute the chicken, both sides, and then pull it off and put it on a baking sheet. You got 6 chickens or whatever, or 4 chickens, COVID style, or 2 chickens, raw but it's seared. And then that baking sheet, when you're ready to eat, just throw that seared chicken. This is what I do for you for catering. This is what I do for you. In the oven for like 10 minutes, 12 minutes. Your chicken comes out just like here, and you've got your sauce already done. So that's how I cook when I'm catering at your house, okay? We're gonna add a big chunk of butter, about a tablespoon of butter. And we're just gonna push on it with our whisk, and we're just gonna whisk it right in like that, okay? Just whisk it. All right, time to torch. I hope everybody had a great time. I did, Maggie did. Maggie's vegetarian and she's dying right now because it smells so good. and I get to eat it all by myself. So we're gonna just put a little bit of sugar on top of here. Oh, this is not a scary thing. Don't be too scared by this, okay? And we're just gonna kind of let that smear around, okay? Okay, can you see the fire on there? It's not that scary. Okay, but the thing's like 6 inches long. It's not that little tiny match head fire that you get when you buy a creme brulee torch. I'm gonna hold it in my left hand here, and I'm going to spin it around. Now I'm more confident than most people are doing this, and you can see this caramelize as we speak here, okay? It's just gonna start moving around. Oh, look at how the caramel's just running around. Oh yes, okay. Amazing, you guys. Let it caramelize, don't be shy. What you want to do is wait, okay? You see how jiggly it still is, okay? Just wait about, 10 seconds. Wow. But see, you can hear that? See? It's like little glass. Look at that, okay? See how you can just chop it? It's like little pieces of glass here. Look at that. Okay. Oh, look at that. See, it's like little chunks. And we're gonna go in here. Fantastic. Bon appetit. See you next time.